Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about something that hit the news a couple days ago now, I think. I've been meaning to make a video about it, but just hadn't gotten around to it. And that is the news that Kevin Feige is now going to produce a Star Wars movie. I have a couple observations about this. My first observation is how desperate is Disney Star Wars. It's vindicating and quite laughable from one perspective. They remind me at this point of, you see this behavior in children, school children or whatever, out in the playground or whatever, or looking at my nieces or something like that. But if one of them is being mean to the other one, let's say one of them is being a little bullyish, taking something away or making fun of one or whatever, and then they see that the teacher's coming, or they sense that the one they've been picking on or whatever is going to go tell on them or something. They sense that there's going to be consequences. Then all of a sudden they start trying to be like nice, like do little things or joke around with them or something like that. Try to, smooth things over a little bit. They don't admit that they were wrong. They don't say sorry for taking this from you or sorry for, doing whatever they did to them. They just try to like sort of smooth it over real quick, so they don't have any consequences. And of course it doesn't work because, once you've done something like that to a child and they sense some sort of injustice, they're going to go, exact justice for the deed. So it's kind of pathetic when you watch, the bully child do that. That's what Disney's doing right now. Disney got absolutely spanked with Solo. And they knew it. They knew it. And they knew somehow, I think, somebody had the presence of mind to know that this was because of Last Jedi. Despite their massive marketing machine going out there and trying to just bully all the fans who dared dissent beside their masses of zombies on social media or whatever, they faced consequences. They don't want any more consequences. They will not, though. They will not admit that they were wrong and that they took the wrong direction. They can't do that. They're Disney. They can't fire Kathleen Kennedy and go in a different direction. No. They're Disney. They tell you what you want. Anyway, so what are they doing instead? They're striving. They're trying for anything and everything. And now they will. What if we get Kevin Feige to do a Star Wars movie? I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. I'm not expecting it. I mean, I'm not predicting this or anything, but I would not be surprised at all if soon enough we announce some sort of Marvel Star Wars crossover. I mean, they will pull every little trick out of their hat they can right now to beg the audience to come back and give them another chance. But they're not changing anything. Their method of storytelling, their direction that they're going in is absolutely the same. It's not going to change. So that's first observation. Second observation about this is how desperate is Kevin Feige? Now you might be thinking, what the hell are you talking about, Professor? He's amazing. He's, got all the success and everything like that. Yes, he has an immense amount of success under his belt. And he's I'm sure he's the hot button item in Hollywood right now. But I think he knows that his number's up in some degree. Remember that rumor that came out a little while ago? We did a live stream on it, that Disney kind of figured out that maybe they'd made a misstep throwing all of their eggs in the Brie Larson basket. And when they lost the deal with Spider-Man with Sony, they couldn't put him in the movies anymore. They became worried because their plan, this is the rumor, but I think there's some truth to it, more truth than most people would like to admit anyway. The rumor was that their plan was to pair up Captain Marvel with Spider-Man as much as possible. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he would have been in her sequel or she just would have been sort of buddying up with him a lot in the Avengers movies, whatever, I don't know. And that was their attempt to humanize her character. Because let's just be honest, objectively, Brie Larson is not a likable person. If you agree with all of her social agendas, and if you agree and you welcome a famous mouthpiece for your platforms, then yeah, I'm sure you like her. But she's not a very, look at that character that she played and how she portrayed Carol Danvers in the Captain Marvel movie. She wasn't a very human character. She wasn't a warm, approachable, likable character at all. It didn't matter, who you were or whatever, and that's just an objective truth of the matter. So Disney figured that out. Disney really went full steam ahead, bullying that movie's success. Whatever you think they did, whatever you think they didn't do, they did something. They absolutely did something. There was some sort of monkeying around going with the ticket sales. I don't know exactly what, but there was absolutely backroom deals and whatnot going on with Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, you know, that's pretty much accepted now anyway. And they admitted it. They admit that we've got a system. We've got ways of dealing with the trolls, they call them. Who's anybody that dares criticize their movie, you know? So they really went full steam ahead on that. And I think somewhere down the line, somewhere in the company, they realized they can't keep doing that. They can't do that with a Captain Marvel 2. They can't continue to do that. They've got to have some sort of organic, positive response to this character, to Brie Larson's portrayal of her, and it's just not there. It's simply not. So I think they were probably planning on doing something like that. Again, I don't know exactly what, but I'm sure Spider-Man's character would have suffered for it. You know, it would have been like a Nick Fury, you know, being her little buddy sidekick that, you know, appears useless next to her so she can seem amazing, you know, or whatever. And here's why I think there's truth to that rumor, is because where's the talk of Captain Marvel 2? If this truly was such an amazingly successful film and all the fans, shut up, Prof, you don't know what you're talking about, the fans loved it and the world embraced it, it's just you and a couple of those trolls and incels on Twitter or whatever. If that was the case, where the hell is the sequel? They have not breathed one tiny word about that sequel. As far as I know, there's no director. I mean, maybe they got the director from the last one or something, but there's no news from it. There's no script. They don't talk about that being written. There's no anything at all. That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big tell, right? Instead, we're talking about the Eternals and, you know, all these kind of other silly stuff. I think Disney Star Wars, certainly Kevin Feige, I think they know deep down they made a misstep. They made a mistake, and they're not going to be able to sustain this level of popularity and interest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe the way they've set it up now. The way they've let these characters go, goodbye, on your way. We're telling all different Marvel now, which failed in the comics. The all woke Marvel in the comics was a failure. That, again, is just a matter of history. And it's the biggest mystery in the world why Kevin Feige just decided to turn on a heel and suddenly stop listening to fans, stop portraying these characters in the most iconic way, you know, in their tried and true versions to the comics, and just turn on a heel and start, you know, welcoming in this Johnny Come Lately versions of the characters and nonsense that happened to the universe with the all new, all different Marvel. And that's what he's doing. That's what he's talked about, you know. So it's a mystery as to why that happens, but somebody there knows, whether it's Feige or somebody else, somebody knows that that's not going to reap the same reward that they've done so with the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think Feige himself is a little desperate. I think Feige himself would very much like to diversify his options and not just be known as the Marvel guy. If he could be known as a Star Wars guy too, you know, then when Marvel inevitably fades away, which it's doing with this direction, as long as they maintain that, you know. So I think he's trying to jump ship a little bit too. But the laughable thing about both of those cases is that the salvation that both of those sides appears to be grabbing for isn't really all that sturdy either. Feige's lost his luster, right? There's no more red on that lollipop. You know, the people who, again, you like the political agendas and the directions he's going in, of course you're happy with it. But most of us who've stuck with the universe because of the good storytelling are very disenchanted about this idea. Endgame was an enormous letdown, and everything about the direction he's talking about going in next. So we don't have faith in Feige. We feel rather betrayed by Kevin Feige. So we're certainly not going to get excited and suddenly jump on board just because he's doing a Star Wars movie. That's just, you know, bringing in one Benedict Arnold to work with some others. I mean, you know, what do we care? And then Star Wars, you know, so that Star Wars is jumping on Feige. That's not really going to work out and not going to bring anybody aboard for them that wasn't already on board, you know. And then Feige jumping over to Star Wars. Again, the same thing. We are not interested in a Star Wars universe that continues in this continuity, that continues with these characters, continues with the nonsense they've been doing with it. So it doesn't matter that Feige's doing it now. What do we care? You know? So it's just, the whole thing seems like a desperate and pretty ridiculous. They're trying to be all excited about the announcement. And again, some people are excited. You know, you're watching this video and you're one of those, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's fine. But you were already excited about Feige and Star Wars, or if not both. You were, this merger of the two entities here isn't going to bring any new on board. That's the point. So that's my thoughts. People were asking me a lot to record a video on them or get them out there. Those are my thoughts on the Feige producing a Star Wars movie. That's all I've got for now. I'll be back with more videos and whatnot very soon. But until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching. By now, chances are you've probably heard of and hopefully ordered your copy of my graphic novel, Tales from the Stacks. But in case this is the first you're hearing of it, it is still in demand on Indiegogo, but it will not be available forever. The in-demand store is closing down later this month as we prepare for fulfillment and for the new campaign for the new book launching in the fall. Tales from the Stacks is a collection of 3 of my uncanny suspense stories in the vein of The Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, and such. They are introduced by a mysterious librarian who's welcomed you into the inner stacks of the library where they keep such tales. And it features interior art by an amazing collection of talent. Illustrator Monk Dave T., the great Kyung Lee, and another artist I haven't even announced yet. And of course the variant covers are still available, Kyung Lee's famous cover, as well as John Malin's amazing work, colored by Kyle Ritter, and then the Dave T. Indiegogo exclusive as well. We have prints, t-shirts, bookmarks by Pablo Romero. So if you haven't checked out the campaign page, or if you haven't checked it out in a while, swing by and see if there's any new content you might have missed. Thanks for helping us reach so many of the stretch goals, and we'll see if we can't reach another one before it ends.